Have you ever stopped to think about what's actually happening inside your head when a fleeting thought somehow becomes a lifelong memory? Well, today, we're going to take that exact journey, deep inside our own minds, to figure out how the brain stores information.
You know this feeling, right? We've all been there. That super awkward moment where you're just scrambling for a piece of information that was in your head literally a second ago. It feels like your brain just glitched out. But believe it or not, it's the perfect window into how our memory gets built. So let's say you hear a name. Your ears pick it up, your brain processes the sounds. That first step is called encoding. But when that name completely vanishes just a few seconds later, that's not an encoding problem. Nope. Psychologists call that a storage failure. The information just never made it into the right filing cabinet.
And that right there is our key word for today: storage. It's the absolutely crucial middle step in the whole memory process. It's the bridge that takes a passing thought and actually holds on to it, so you can retrieve it later. Because let's be real, without storage, there's nothing to remember.
Okay, so where does a brand new memory even begin its journey? Well, it starts in a very temporary and very busy part of the brain system. Everything you see, hear, or feel first zips through your sensory memory. It's like a split-second holding area. From there, only the important stuff gets promoted to your short-term memory. You can think of this like your brain's mental sticky note, right? A temporary workspace for things you need right now, like a phone number you're about to dial.
So how much can you actually cram onto that little mental sticky note? Well, way back in 1956, a psychologist named George Miller published this incredible, now famous paper that gave us the answer. He called it the magic number. And that number is 7, plus or minus 2. Yep, that's it. That's the average number of items our short-term memory can juggle at any one time. And this really shows the huge difference between that temporary workspace and the brain's main library. Short-term memory, it's tiny, and it lasts for just a few seconds if you're not repeating it. But long-term memory, whoa, it has a seemingly infinite capacity, can last a whole lifetime, and it stores information by its deeper meaning, not just by how it sounds. All right, so let's walk into that vast library and find out how our brain pulls off this incredible feat of permanent storage.
Now, this is maybe the most important thing to get. Your brain doesn't store memories like they're files on a computer. A memory is a physical thing. Scientists have a name for it. They call it a memory trace or an engram. It's a real tangible change in how your brain cells are connected to each other. That new circuit is the memory. But how in the world does a memory go from being just a temporary thought to a permanent physical trace in your brain? Well, to understand that, we need to meet the brain's master memory maker.
So much of what we know about this comes from the really tragic but scientifically revolutionary case of a patient known only as HM. To treat his terrible epilepsy, surgeons removed a small seahorse-shaped part of his brain called the hippocampus, and his seizures, they stopped. But the surgery had this shocking, profound side effect on his memory.
The big question that had researchers just stumped was this: what exactly could HM still do, and what was he now completely incapable of? The answer was a game changer for neuroscience. So here's the wild part. They found that HM could learn new physical skills, like tracing a star while looking in a mirror. His body could remember things, but, and this is huge, he could not form any new long-term memories about events or facts. He couldn't tell you what he ate for breakfast that morning. He couldn't remember the faces of the doctors he met every single day. And this case just brilliantly laid out the true job of the hippocampus. See, it's not the final storage cabinet. Instead, it acts like a temporary hub, or maybe an indexer for a library. It's essential for grabbing a new memory, organizing it, and then shipping it off for permanent storage in the cortex. That's the brain's big, wrinkled outer layer. So, when does all this crucial shipping and filing happen? You might be surprised. It happens when we are completely checked out. This quote just says it perfectly. Sleep is when the real memory magic happens. This whole process is called consolidation. While you're sleeping, your hippocampus is working overtime. It replays the neural patterns from your day's experiences again and again, and all that repetition strengthens the connections between neurons, which effectively transfers that memory trace from the temporary hub of the hippocampus to the cortex for safe, long-term keeping. But you know, the hippocampus doesn't work alone. Not at all. Storing a rich, complex memory requires a whole network of different brain structures all working together.
You can almost think of it like a movie crew, right? The hippocampus is the director, organizing the whole production. The amygdala is in charge of the emotional tone, flagging memories with feelings like fear or joy, making them more powerful. The cerebellum handles all the physical how-to memories, like how to ride a bike. And the neocortex? That's the massive film archive where everything gets stored in the end.
So, the next time you effortlessly recall a childhood birthday or the face of someone you love, just take a second. Realize it's not just one simple thing happening. It is a testament to this incredible, intricate dance of brain regions and sleeping neurons that took a fleeting moment and literally wove it into the fabric of who you are.